Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasharakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Sopadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudhapadakamalam Shri Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे इन्दुरेश्वरशून्यवादी परिषदरेशचारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये श्रीमतां सतता कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तनार्थं तस्य पत्राणि वितनोति सरस्वतां नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवते सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremest human being, and unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, supersoul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, grants us the desire for material enjoyment on the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous and properly or enchanted by regular attendance in the classes of Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of God, who is blessed with transcendental sense, is established as an irrevocable fact. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai.
Jai Hare Krishna. Prabhu's please accept number obeisances on
Hare
behalf of
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Can I start, Prabhu's?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Text 5. Para bhavastavad aboda jato yavana jignasata atmatavam tatvam yavad kriyastavad idam mano vaikar matmakam yena sharira bandaha. Synonyms: para bhavaha, defeat, misery. Tavat, so long. Abodaha, jataha, produced from ignorance. Yavad, as long as. Not. Jignasate, inquires about Atma Tattvam, the truth of the self. Yavad, as long as. Kriyaha, fruitive activities. Tavat, so long. Idam, this. Manaha, mind. Vai, indeed. Karma, atmakam, absorbed in material activities. Yena, by which. Sharira, bandaha, bondage in this material body. Translation and peppered by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subjected to miseries arising from ignorance, be it sinful or pious karma, has its resultant actions. If a person is engaged in any kind of karma, his mind is called karmatmaka, colored with fruitive activity. As long as the mind is impure, consciousness is unclear, and as long as one is absorbed in fruitive activity, he has to accept a material body. Purport. Generally, people think that one should act very piously in order to be relieved from misery. But this is not a fact. Even though one engages in pious activity and speculation, he is nonetheless defeated. His only aim should be emancipation from the clutches of Maya and all material activities. Speculative knowledge and pious activities do not solve the problems of material life. One should be inquisitive to understand his spiritual position, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.37. Yata damsi sami dogni basmat bahasmasat kurute arjun yagna nahi sarva karmani basmasat kurute tata. Semi Prabhu, I see you there in the middle, in the first line. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. Unless one understands the self and its activities, one has to be considered in material bondage. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10.2.32, it is also said, Ye nye Ravindaksha Vimukta Mani Nastwai Asta Bhavat Avishuddha Buddhayaha. A person who does not have knowledge of devotional service may think himself liberated, but actually he is not. Aruya Kracharena Param Padam Tata Patanti Ado Nadrata Yushmad Agnarayaha. Such people may approach the impersonal Brahman effulgence, but they fall down again into material enjoyment because they have no knowledge of devotional service. As long as one is interested in karma and jnana, he continues enduring the miseries of material life, birth, old age, disease, and death. Karmis certainly take on one body after another as far as jnanis are concerned, unless they are promoted to that topmost understanding, they must return to the material world, as explained in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Bahunam janmanam ante yagnavam yagnavan mam prapadyate. The point is to know Krishna Vasudeva as everything and surrender unto him. Karmis do not know this, but a devotee who is 100% engaged in the devotional service of the Lord knows fully what is karma and jnana. Therefore, a pure devotee is no longer interested in karma and or jnana. Anya bilashita shunyam jnanam karmadi anavratam. The real bhakta is untouched by any tinge of karma and jnana. His only purpose in life is to serve the Lord. Text 6. Evam manaha karma vasham prayunte avidaya yatmanani upadiyamane. Yo, the tune is off. I wanted to remember that one of yours, Prabhu. Evam mana karma vasham prayunte avidyatma atmanani upadiyamane pritirna yavanmaye vasudev namujyate deha yoge natavat. Synonyms: evam, thus, manaha, the mind; karma, vasham, subjugated by fruitive activities; prayukte, acts; avidyaya, by ignorance; atmani, when the living entity; upadyanmane, is covered; priti, love; na, not; yavat, as long as; mai, unto me; vasudeva, Krishna; na, not; muchyate, is delivered; deha yogena, from contact with the material body; yet tavat, so long. Translation: when the living entity is covered by the mode of ignorance, he does not understand the individual living being and the supreme living being, and his mind is subjugated to fruitive activity. Therefore, until one has love for Lord Vasudeva, who is none other than myself, he is certainly not delivered from having to accept a material body again and again. Purport: when the mind is polluted by fruitive activity, the living entity wants to be elevated from one material position to another. Generally, everyone is involved in working hard day and night to improve his economic condition. Even when one understands the Vedic rituals, he becomes interested in promotion to heavenly planets, not knowing that one's real interest lies in returning home back to Godhead by acting on the plan. Can go down, Prabhu. Platform of fruitive activity. One wanders throughout the universe in different species and forms. Unless he comes in contact with a devotee of the Lord, a guru, he does not become attached to the service of Lord Vasudeva. Knowledge of Vasudeva requires many births to understand, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Vasudeva Saravam iti samahat masuduralabaha. After struggling for existence for many births, one mainly, I did not see that, Prabhu. The last word. One may take shelter at the lotus feet of Vasudeva Krishna. When this happens, one actually becomes wise and surrender unto him. This is the only way to stop the repetition of birth and death. This is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 19.151 in the instructions given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Srila Rupa Goswami at Dashasha Vameda Gata. Brahmanda Baramite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhaktilata Bija. My own tune, wow. Oh, Bhaktilata Bija. Semi Prabhu, I'm sure you have surpassed that stage long ago, Bhaktilata Bija.
No, Prabhu.
That's why you're going in the forest, Prabhu, to meditate.
No, Prabhu. I'm there working like a slave for Maya.
Not really, Prabhu. The living entity wanders throughout different planets in different forms and bodies, but if by chance he comes in contact with a bona fide spiritual master, by the grace of the spiritual master, he receives Lord Krishna's shelter and his devotional life begins. The living entity wanders throughout different planets in different forms and bodies, but if by chance he comes in contact with a bona fide spiritual master, by the grace of the spiritual master, he receives Lord Krishna's shelter and his devotional life begins. Yeah, ne? Yadana pashyati anyata guneham sarvate paramattaha sahasa vipashchit gata smriti vinidati tatra tapan asadyama itunyam agaram agnaha. Semi Prabhu, that tune, I still need to practice it. Okay, synonyms. Yada when na not pashyati, sees ayata, unnecessary guna yaham, endeavor to satisfy the senses, swa arate, in self-interest, paramataha, mad sahasa, very soon, vipshit, is it vipshit? Even one advanced in knowledge, gata smriti, being forgetful, vindati, gets tatra, de tapan, material miseries, asadya, getting, hunyam, based on sexual intercourse, agaram, a home, agnaha, being foolish. Translation: even though one may be very learned and wise, he is mad if he does not understand the endeavor for sense gratification is a useless waste of time. Being forgetful of his own interest, he tries to be happy in the material world, centering his interest around his home, which is based on sexual intercourse and which brings him all kinds of material miseries. In this way, one is no better than a foolish animal. Purport. In the lowest stage of devotional life, one is not an unalloyed devotee. Anya bila shita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. To be an unalloyed devotee, one must be freed from all material desires and untouched by fruitive activity and speculative knowledge. One On the lower platform, one may sometimes be interested in philosophical speculation with a tinge of devotion. However, at that stage, one is still interested in self gratification and is contaminated by the mode of material nature. The influence of Maya is so strong that even a person advanced in knowledge actually forgets that he is Krishna's eternal servant. Therefore, he remains satisfied in his household life, which is centered around sexual intercourse, consenting to a life of sex. He agrees to suffer all kinds of material miseries due to ignorance. One is thus bound by the chain of material laws. Text 8. Pusaha pumsaha striya mituni bhavam etam tayomito hirdaya krantim ahu pusha pumsaha striya mituni bhavam etam tayomito hirdaya grantim ahu ato graha kshetra supta vrittai Janasya moho yam aham mamiti. Semi Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhu.
can you please chant it, Prabhu? Are you not busy? I hope you're not busy.
Pumshastriya mituni bhavam. Which one this is? Pumsastriya mituni bhavametam tayormito hrada. I don't. Is this 11 one? I mixed it two, Prabhu, now.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Bhavametam
Isn't it that one that you like to do? Pumsahastriya mituna bhavam etam dayo mito hirdaya.
Pumsastriya mituni bhavametam tayormito hridaya grantimahu ato grihakshetra sutapta vittair janasya mohoyam aham mameti.
Yeah. Ribu. Pumsaha of male, striya of female, of a female, meet tuni bhavam attraction for sexual life. Etam there is tayo of both of them mitaha between one another. Hirdaya grantihim the knot of the heart. Aho they call ataha. Thereafter graha by home, shettara field, suta children, apta relatives, vitai and by wealth, janasya of the living being, moha illusion, I am this, aham, I, mama, mine, iti, thus. Translation: the attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this conception, which ties together the heart of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. Purport: sex serves as the natural attraction between men and women. And when they are married, their relationship becomes more involved due to the entangling relationship between men and women. There is a sense of enjoyment, sense of illusion, whereby one thinks this man is my husband or this woman is my wife. This is called Hirdaya Granti, the heart knot in the heart. This knot is very difficult to undo. Even though a man and woman separate either for the principles of Varnashara or simply to get a divorce, in any case, the man always thinks of the woman and the woman always thinks of the man. Thus, a person becomes materially attached to family, property, and children. Although all of these are temporary, the possessor unfortunately identifies with his property and wealth. Sometimes, even after renunciation, one becomes attached to a temple or to the few things that constitute the proper of a sannyasi. But such attachment is not as strong as family attachment. The attachment to the family is the strongest illusion. In the Satya Samhita, it is stated, Brahmadya Yagnavalkadya Mujjante Stri Sahainaha Bodhayante Kechanai Tesham Vishesham Cha Vidu. Sometimes it is found among exalted personalities like Lord Brahma that the wife and children are not a cause of bondage. On the contrary, the wife actually helps further spiritual life and liberation. Nonetheless, most people are bound by the knots of the material relationship, and consequently, they forget the relationship with Krishna. Text 9. Oh, these tunes. Yada mano hirdaya krantir asya karmanu baddo dridda ashilatita tada janaha sampari vartate smad mukta param yati ataya hetu. Let's not make sure this one. Selim Siada, when Manaha, the mind, Hirdaya Grantihi, the knot in the heart, Asya of this person, Karma Anubaddaha, bound by the result of his past deeds, Driddam, very strong, Ashlatita, Ashlatita, becomes slackened. Tada, at that time, Jana, the conditioned soul, Parivartate, turns away Asmat from this attachment for sex life. Muktaha, liberated. Param, to the transcendental world. Yati goes. Ati haya, giving up. Hetu, the original cause. Translation: when the strong knot in the heart of a person implicated in material life due to the result of past action is lackened, one turns away from his attachment to home, wife, and children. In this way, one gives up the basic principle of illusion, I and mine, and becomes liberated. Thus, one goes to the transcendental world. And the strong knot in the heart of a person implicated in material life due to the result of past. Okay, purport. When by associating with sadhus and engaging in devotional service, one is gradually freed from the material conception due to knowledge, practice, and detachment. The knot of attachment in the heart is slackened. Thus, one can get free from conditional life and becomes eligible to return home back to Godhead. Yo. Hamse Gurau Mai Bhaktayanu Vrataya Viratishnaya Dvandva Titikshaya Cham Sarvatra Janto Vyasana Vagatya Jignasaya Tapasiha Nivartaya Mad Karmabi Mad Kataya Cha Nityam Mad Deva Sangad Guna Kritanan Me Nirvaira Samyopashamina Putra Jihasya Deha Ge Atma Buddhe Mat Karma Bi Mat Kataya Chanityam. Okay. Ariyatma Yogena Vivikta Sevaya Pranandriyatmak Bi Jayena Sadhiryak Sadhiryak Sadshu Sakcharadaya Brahmacharena Shashvat Asampramadena Yamina Vacham Sarvatra Madbhava Vichakshi Nana Vichakshi Nana Vichakshi Prabhu, how do you pronounce Vichaksha Nena? Oh, Gyanena Vigana Virajitena Yogena Dirtya Udayama Sattva Yukto Lingam Pohit Kushaloham Akayam. Akyam. Akyam. True. Synonym Samse, who is a Paramhamsa or the most exalted, spiritually advanced person, Gurau, to the spiritual master, Mai, and to me, the spiritual personality of Godhead, Bhaktya, by devotional service, Anuvritya, by following, Vitrishnaya, by detachment from sense gratification, Dvandva, of the dualities of the material world, Titikshaya, by tolerance, Cha, also Sarvatra, everywhere, Jano, Toho, of the living entity, Vyasana, the miserable condition of life, Avagatya, by realizing, Jignasaya, by inquiring about the truth, Tapasa, by practicing austerities and penance, Iha Nivirtya, by giving up the endeavor for sense enjoyment, Mat Karma B, by working for me, Mat Kataya, by hearing topics about me, Cha, also Nityam, always, Mat Deva Sangat, by association with my devotees, Guna Kirtanat, me, by chanting and glorifying my transcendental qualities, Nirva Ira, being without enmity, Samya, seeing everyone equally by spiritual understanding, Upashamena, Upashamena, by subduing anger, lamentation, and so on, Putraha, O sons, Jihasaya, by desiring to give up Deha with the body, Giha with the home, Atma Bude, identification of the self, Adhyatma Yogena, by study of the revealed scriptures, Vivikta Sevaya, by living in a solitary place, Prana, the life air, Indriya, the senses, Atma, the mind, Abhijayena, by controlling Sadharyak, completely, Sat Sharadaya, by developing faith in the scriptures, Brahmacharina, by observing celibacy, Shashvat, always, Asam Pramadena, by not being bewildered, Yamena, by restraint, Vacham, of words, Saravatra, everywhere, Madbhava, thinking of me, Vichakshinana, Vichakshanena, by observing Yagnanina, by development of knowledge, Vijnana, by practical application of knowledge, Virajitena, illuminated, Yogena, by practice of Bhakti Yoga, Dhriti, patience, Udyama, enthusiasm, Sattva, discretion, Yuktaha, endured with, Lingam, the cause of material bondage, Vyapo, hate. One can give up, Kushalaha, in full auspiciousness, Aham, Akyam, false ego, false identification with the material world. Translation. It's going down. Oh, my son, you should accept a highly elevated Paramhamsa, a spiritually. Hana Prabhu, who is the teachings of, who's teaching here? I remember we were going through the teachings of, is it Rashab Dev?
Yes.
Yeah, Lord. Oh, my sons, you should accept a highly elevated Paramhamsa. Please zoom in, Prabhu. Oh, my sons, you should accept a highly elevated Paramhamsa, a spiritually advanced spiritual master. In this way, you should place your faith and love in me, the supreme personality of Godhead. You should detest sense gratification and tolerate the duality of pleasure and pain, which are like the seasonal changes of summer and winter. Try to realize the miserable condition of living entities who are miserable even in the higher planetary systems. Philosophically inquire about the truth, then undergo all kinds of austerities and penance for the sake of devotional service. Give up the endeavor for sense enjoyment and engage in the service of the Lord. Listen to discussions about the supreme personality of Godhead, and always associate with devotees. Chant about the chant and glorify the Supreme Lord and look upon everyone equally on the spiritual platform. Give up enmity and subdue anger and lamentation. Abandon identifying the self with the body and the home. And practice reading the revealed scriptures. Live in a secluded place and practice the process by which you can complete control your life, mind, and senses. Have full faith in the revealed scriptures, the Vedic literatures, and always observe celibacy. Perform your prescribed duties and avoid unnecessary talk always. Thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Acquire knowledge from the right source. The practicing Bhakti Yoga. That's practicing Bhakti Yoga. You will patiently and enthusiastically be elevated in knowledge and will be able to give up the false ego. Purport. In these 4 verses, Rishabh Dev tells his sons how they can be freed from the false identification arising from false ego and material conditional life. One gradually becomes liberated by practicing as is mentioned. Above all, these prescribed methods enable one to give up the material body, lingam vyapohet, and be situated in the original spiritual body. First of all, one has to accept a bona fide spiritual master. This is advocated by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sri Guru Pada Sharayaha. To be freed from the entanglement of material world, one has to approach a spiritual master. That Vijnanartam Sa Gurum Eva Bigachate. By questioning the spiritual master and by serving him, one can advance in spiritual life. When one engages in devotional service, naturally the attraction for personal comfort, for eating, sleeping, and dressing is reduced. By associating, when one engages in devotional service, naturally the attraction for personal comfort, for eating, sleeping, and dressing is reduced by association with the devotees. A spiritual standard is maintained. The word Madhava Sangat is very important. There are many so-called religions devoted to the worship of various demigods, but here association means association with one who simply accepts Krishna as his worshipable deity. Another important item is Dvandva Titiksha. As long as one is situated in the material world, there must be pleasure and pain arising from the material body. As Krishna advises in Bhagavad Gita, Tam Stitikshas Vabaharataha. Hana, it's in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, ne? Hana, which one is this, Prabhu? Tam Stitikshas Vabaharataha. It's not the one he was surrendering, ne? One has to learn how to tolerate the temporary pains and, oh son of Kunti. It is, I think it's 2:14. Matras Parashtuka Ante, Yashitoshna Sukha Dukada. Yeah, something like that. Agamapahina Nityastam Stitikshas Vabaharata. Yeah. Another important item is done. Okay, where was I? Tam Stitikshas Vabaharata. One has to learn how to tolerate the temporary pains and pleasures of this material world. One must also be detached from his family and practice celibacy. Sex with one's wife, according to the scriptural injunctions, is also accepted as brahmacharya celibacy, but illicit sex is opposed to religious principles and it hampers advancement in spiritual consciousness. Another important word is Vijnana. Vijnana. Virajita. Everything should be done very significantly and consciously. One should be a realized soul. In this way, one can give up the entanglement of material bondage. As Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam points out, the sum and substance of these 4 shlokas is that one should refrain from acting out of a desire for sense gratification and should instead always engage in the Lord's loving service. In other words, Bhakti Yoga is the acknowledged path of liberation. Srila Madhavacharya quotes from the Adhyatma. Atmano vihitam karma varjaya tvanya karmanaha kamsya cha parityago nirihiti ahu uttama. One should perform activities only for the benefit of the soul. Any other activity should be given up. When a person is situated in this way, he is said to be desireless. Actually, a living entity cannot be totally desireless, but when he desires the benefit of the soul and nothing else, he is said to be desireless. Spiritual knowledge is jnana vijnana, saman vitam. When one is fully equipped with jnana and vijnana, he is perfect. Jnana means that one understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, to be the Supreme Being. Vijnana refers to the activities that liberate one from the ignorance of material existence. As stated in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 2.9.31, Jnanam parama yam me yad vijnana samanvitam. Knowledge of the Supreme Lord is very confidential, and the Supreme laws by which one understands him furthers the liberation of all living entities. This knowledge is Vijnana, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvataha tyaktva deham punya janmana iti mam eti sorjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjun. Oh, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, someone else can read, Prabhu. Oh, Hare Krishna, Pranjal Prabhu, please
No,
accept my
thank you,
obeisances
Shraddha.
on blessings to
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna, Pranjal Prabhu, Tandar Pran, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay, I think we can go to 6 Astakam prayers. Thank you so much, Lebhang Pro.
Thank you, Prabhu. Should I do them all at once?
Yes, Prabhu, you can do.
Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam shreya kaivachandika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratiparam purnamrita swaranam sarvatmasnapanam param vichayate Shri Krishna Sankirtananam namakari bauda nija sarva shaktis tadrarpita niyamita smaranena kalaha एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैव मे दृशम्यहै जीनानुराग्रह त्रिनारपि सुनीचन तरोवपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मनादिना कीर्तनीय सदा हरि नदनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं गवितं वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनीश्वरे भवता भक्त्या हेतुकी त्वयि ऐनन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितं मम विषमे भवं बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजा स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तया नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदय गिरा पुलकैरनचित्तं वपुकदा तव नमग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रविशायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरयेण मे आशिष लेवा परथम पिनस्तु मदर्शनम मर्ममठम करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदतुलान् पतोमत् प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नार्पणः हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Oh, I'm sure Semi Prabhu's battery is flat.
People, the battery ended.
No, yes, Prabhu.
Did you read it? Which part?
Yeah, until the last part. I just need to read the English now because when you left, it also went out. Disconnected, actually. Okay, let me remove it. Glories, okay, please zoom in a little bit. Glories to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, in these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. They are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda, O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal savior, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh Govinda. Sami Prabhu. Oh, Govinda, feeling a separation, I am considering a woman to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shikshastaka ki jai, Chaitanya
Jai,
Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila
Jai,
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Bahu janma kare yadi shravana kirtana tabu dana paya Krishna pare premadana. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will not get the love of Godhead. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. The first offense, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second offense, to consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Third offense is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master or thinking him as an ordinary person. Fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in preference to the Vedic version. Fifth offense, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. Sixth offense, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh offense, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Eighth offense, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. Ninth offense, to instruct the faithless persons about the glories of their holy name. 10th offense, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
kripa
Kripasindhubhyacha
sindhubhyascha
Paritana
patitanam
bhavanebhyo
Patitanam
Vaishnavebhyo
Pavanebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavibhyo
namo
Namo
namaha.
Namaha Ananta Koti
Ananta
Vaishnava Vrinda
Paritana
Ki Jai
Jai.
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai
Jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bo.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much for association, Prabhu. Thank you, Lebahan Prabhu, for reading.
Thank you,
Really,
Prabhus. Oh, I'm the one who forgot the heart only. Oh.
Hari Bol. See you again tomorrow.
Tomorrow is the Ishta Goshti, Prabhu.
Maybe, Prabhu, but I didn't hear yet anything. Kartik Prabhu will make a surprise, maybe.
Oh, yes, Prabhu. They must make it, Prabhu. We are dying from material samsara.
Yes, Prabhu.
Association. I know, but then every year, Prabhu, I remember Ratha Yatra is like this, very quiet.
Yes, Prabhu.
Now we're going to desire to have money to go to Ratha Yatra once so that we don't have a quiet month.
Yes, Prabhu. That's true.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for your
Thank you, Prabhu.
association. Have the rest of your evening as Krishna conscious.
Jai Shri Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.